too much eye contact.
This is called that's finally the whatnot that we dialed in is eye contact. It's a funny joke because Robbie and I have the prompter now, so that the camera's right there and it fixes this massive problem. We took an audience poll and they were tired of us looking astray at random areas, and hopefully this improves our listenership.
Yeah, we're just kidding, obviously.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have a special guest today, Ben Holmes. What's going on, Ben?
What's going on? Yeah, I'm doing great. How are y'all doing?
Superb.
Yeah, another day. Doing all right. For anyone who has not seen you around the interwebs, could you please give a few sentences about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, totally. So my name's Ben. I go by B Holmes Dev pretty much everywhere. So you'll see me around Twitter, YouTube, Discord, any forum where nerds collaborate. GitHub, of course. I've been a software engineer for all my whole career, kind of my whole life. I've been working at Astro as a senior maintainer, and as of next week, or I don't know what it'll be by the time this is recorded, but joining Warp as a product engineer. So continuing the road. I guess if there's a theme and stuff that I do, it's making developers' lives a lot better, trying to build whatever they're trying to build. So just keeping on that train.
Yeah, that's
nice.
Cool. Robbie uses Warp.
I do. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
How you liking it?
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, the only complaint I have right now is I'm out of agent credits, so
If you know
we can slip under the table. I mean, if you send me some whiskey, I'll send you some credits. I think it's a good relationship. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, I think having that built in is super nice. Like I liked Warp before. I didn't really fully leverage all of the features, but I've been like learning more about it, doing more things with it recently. So
yeah, I mean, it shot up in feature set probably in the past like couple months, because I just tried it way back in 2020 or something like that, because I was using Hyperterm at the time, which was like an Electron-based terminal. I don't know why. I just liked that it had a JavaScript config file, and I just went with it. And I realized, wow, it gets slow even for like normal things. This probably isn't good. It eventually was no longer actively maintained. So Warp came along and said, hey, we're built in Rust, so we're a lot faster. And by the way, we have like a command palette, so you can jump between things like VS Code, and you can like copy paste little blocks of execution that you run. That was like the original feature they came on the scene with. So I've always loved that. And now all of a sudden you can just like ask it to do anything for you, and it will. Like, I'm in a jam with Git and I have no idea how to revert this. Can you help me? And it'll just run the 5 Git commands for you and get you back where you are. So it's progressing really quickly. It'll edit code for you now. It's becoming a full-on cursor replacement. I don't know what the future holds, but yeah, they're going deep. Or we're going deep on all of these features to see what the limits are.
Yeah.
You're the guy. You're the new CEO. It's going to be amazing.
That last part,
Yeah.
we may have to cut it.
Fred might disagree.
May have to cut it.
Yeah.
Chief Whiteboard Officer is an easy title to use. I think that's always going to stick around.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we can stick with that. No matter where you go, you'll always be that.
Yeah.
So speaking of going deep on things, let's go deep on this, Chuck. Tell me about
There
this.
you go. Now we might have different ones because Robbie and I ordered at a certain time and then ordered for you at a different time. So I don't know. We'll see. But so this is the Heaven Hill Grain to Glass Rye. So they do a couple of different bourbons and ryes. This particular one was distilled in 2017 and bottled in 2024. There we go. This one is 123.2 proof, so quite hot. We'll see how that goes. 63% rye, 24%, I can't read it. That's why I put it on this other screen. Corn, and 13% malted barley. Yeah, I need readers. I'm getting old. So, yeah, but they'll all be 6 years old regardless.
Nice.
Yeah.
And we are drinking it out of Norland glasses. NorlandGlass.com.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you to our sponsor, Norland Glass.
Yeah.
Thank you to our sponsor, Warp. They don't know it yet, but when they get the bill, they will realize it now.
I did not know.
And Astro as well.
Oh wow. Yeah, they're all
just
they're
a
all
popular
sponsored.
episode. Yeah.
They're all sponsored.
Wait, I just got an Apple Pay charge. What is?
Yeah, exactly. Should have never sent me your number. It gets dangerous.
Yeah, it's from www. That's not very descriptive. All right.
No. Yeah. It's just from the internet in general.
This is from the internet.
Yeah.
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 Ooh. Okay.
So this
That kind of
smells like,
little-
you know
Sorry,
the sorry, go ahead. Seemed like you had something you want to say, Chuck.
Okay, there we go. See, you're gonna wait until I talk. It smells like ginger ale to me.
Okay.
Okay.
I was gonna say something much different. It smells like, you know, the pool floats that like have the cup holders in them, but like a bunch of cup holders, like the entire float is like.
Oh yeah, like the flat one that has like, and what it's a cup holder wherever you might want it to be. What it really is like additional water holder because that's what ends up in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So imagine that you've unwrapped a new package of that and you poured a bunch of pineapple juice into all of the cups. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, are you catching those notes? I mean, it's we took some advanced. What would be a whiskey sommelier? Anyway, we took some advanced courses on this to develop these aromatics and these notes.
Yeah. I don't even think Midjourney could do something with that. It's too niche.
If you opened up a fresh pool float, but only the one that has
Only the one.
mostly
Well, it
uses
has
cup holders.
It has the right ratio. If you filled it up with pineapple juice, that you would get the amount of plasticky smell and the amount of
Okay, the
pineapple
plastic
smell.
and the pineapple.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I do have light notes of pineapple now that you said that, which is really ridiculous. But which
I'm
when
gonna
you're
taste this now.
in Charleston area, and there's a pineapple fountain there that I remember. Yeah,
There is, yeah.
that's all I got. I don't know what that means.
It's very postcard worthy. Yeah, that's in the downtown area. There's one that you can actually like jump in and walk around if you want to.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
Hang out with Bill Murray.
Have I ever seen him? I know someone who is in his neighborhood.
Okay.
So it's like multiple connections removed.
Yes. Yes.
But he's around. He is definitely around.
Yeah. If you go to his minor league baseball team or something, then maybe you see him. That's what I heard. I haven't seen him either. That'd be a fun little game. Find Bill. Find Bill before he dies.
Oh, yeah.
He's getting old.
How old is he? 60s? 70?
I think he's got to be.
I'd
in his
say
70s.
73 is my guess.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. We have the same birthday.
There's no way we could ever find out. So
You could not look it up. Listen, I'm trying to give our guest the attention he deserves. Okay?
yeah, I said I'm not going to look it up. That's what
Oh,
I'm
I
saying.
have the GPT desktop app right in front of your face right now.
Yeah, covering my
guys-
face because you're like entirely too handsome. I don't want to see that. all the time.
Oh man.
I actually did move it to the right. That's so funny. I'm seeing 74.
Okay,
Hey, that's
74.
close.
So it's pretty good.
Very good.
Anyway, all right. I took a first sip. It is hot. It burned my mouth a little bit.
Yes, it does have a little heat.
But I get a little
Wow,
bit
yeah.
in the beginning. Those like root beer barrel candies. A little of that, and then what? Yeah, cinnamon. Not sure what else I'm grabbing there. There's something kind of bitter, rindy, a little, whatever. On the finish.
Yeah.
Root beer for sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Not a lot of pineapple. Not much floating.
Not much.
Not at
Maybe
all.
0 floating, actually.
Yeah, yeah. The smell to taste ratio is definitely 100 to 0. Yes.
Yep.
Alrighty. Well, while you ponder any additional tasting notes, I will remind you and the two people who are joined us for the live stream our highly technical rating system: 0 to 8 tentacles, 0 being horrible, spit this out, throw it away. Those guys are assholes for sending it to me. 4, middle of the road. It's okay. You drink it or not. And then 8, clear the shelves. I want every bit of this I can see. I will never drink anything again. Now, I won't put you on the spot for rating first. I'd like to do that to my much less handsome co-host, Mr. Robert Wagner.
I was expecting the word guest, but all right.
No.
Well,
and once I said less handsome, listen, don't undersell yourself, Ben.
Okay.
You got youth
right.
on your side.
I'll take it.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a rye, right? I can't read from here.
It is. Rye.
So
Rye.
in terms of a rye, I tend to like Sagamore better, but I'm just kidding. Yes. No, this one is not bad. The proof is actually very high compared to the amount of burn. Like there is a good bit of burn, but I was surprised at how smooth it is. It's a little bit sweeter than your typical rye. I'm pretty pleased with it. I think it could maybe do with a little more aging or something, like mellow it out just a tiny bit more. But I think it's pretty good. I'm going to give it a 6.
Okay. Do you have feelings on this, Ben, or do you need me to jump ahead, let you ruminate?
I'll jump in. I mean, so my experience is mostly, well, I don't have a lot of experience with whiskey. The one time that we tasted a bunch of different kinds of whiskey was for an Astro offsite, actually, because Matthew knows his way around whiskey a little bit. He's in Kentucky. This is Kentucky straight.
Oh, yes.
So I don't know if Kentucky is like a common place for whiskey to be made or brewed.
It is.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
All right. Well, we'll have to whiteboard this a little bit. Yeah.
So Kentucky is over here on this part. I'm not gonna try to draw Kentucky. I'm gonna
How
draw
close is it to the Ohio River and then the Mississippi River, and then
Yeah, because we went to the one distillery in Utah, like actually the one, because of Mormon culture. It's very, very hard to have a license to do it. But we tried a lot of whiskeys there, and I feel like I prefer ones that are more spicy. I don't know, because it's not like it sticks with you or anything. It just kind of hits you in the face, and I like that. And the root beer the flavors are good too. Like the aftertaste is good. So I don't have a lot of perspective. I'm gonna say a 5. I don't know.
nothing wrong with that.
That's fair.
Hopefully we go up from here. I don't know.
All right. There you go. Or maybe we ruined it for you. And you're like, this is a 5.
I
and everything
peaked.
else sucks now. What the
Yeah.
heck? So in
Cut off my
Utah's-
tentacles.
Yes. Well, they can grow back apparently, which is why
That's
octopus
true.
can have like 9 and beyond. So anyway,
Oh yeah, that's weird.
bleedy blah. So in Utah, that's High West Distillery there, which is actually a really
Okay,
cool
yeah.
place. Yeah, and it's in Park City actually.
Yep.
Maine.
Yep.
But now they have like a tasting room there and some other stuff, and the glass bottles are hand blown too, which is really cool. So,
Oh, they are.
yeah,
I didn't even realize.
yeah, that's a cool place to visit. So
It is.
you got a pretty nice experience around that one. Okay, so for ryes, and this is definitely barrel proof, so super hot in that sense. But I think it's different and interesting for a rye. I like the sweet to spicy balance to it. For me, I feel like it's it's a little bit higher than the both of you. Like I compare it to, so Willet has a rye that I really like, but even this is like probably like a wider spectrum of flavor for me. It is kind of knocking me back a little bit each time I have a taste, but it kind of changes as I get through it a little bit more. I feel like, I don't know, 7.2 for me. I'm a 7.2 on this. This one is not a cheap bottle, also, by the way, and I like to take into account price into how I rate things. So this was, I want to say 150 or above, something like that, 150, 180, somewhere around that. So it's not something you're necessarily going to grab and sip on at a regular, interval, but it is like if you're wanting something kind of different but also yummy throughout, or you want to impress a friend or something like that, like, I would easily reach for this and be like, here's a cool one you may not have tried. So given those things, like, it's on the pricier side, so it's not your regular sipper, but I think it's it's worth the punch that it's packing. So I'm going 7.2. Oh yeah.
All
I
right.
would like to increase my answer to a 6 or a 7.
You may do whatever you want.
Yeah,
You know,
whatever. No
yeah,
pressure.
We have not chiseled your vote into the trophy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But there is a trophy.
There's definitely.
Oh,
Keep
wow.
looking in the mail. A third gift may come. It definitely won't be a bag of dicks. It might though.
It might-
That's a
I'll take the
candy.
honesty.
Yeah, that's a candy thing.
Yeah.
'Cause it's literally
I just,
bagadicks.com. Yeah.
I just looked at our streaming stuff, and it still says we are Clint Spotleson from Sagamore, but we are not.
We're not. Yeah.
So Riverside just let me down today. Like, there's no way to edit that anymore, so it's just set, I guess.
The last
Maybe
one
there's,
you did.
yeah, I don't know, or maybe
In
I'm the
perpetuity.
one at fault. Anyway,
I guess.
let's
it's
move
possible.
on to things that have no faults. Hot takes.
Oh, hot takes.
Warp. Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
Warp for everything. So, well, you're saying it's like quickly becoming a cursor replacement. And cursor, I've used Windsurf AI quite a bit too. I thought it was
Yeah,
kinda
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to give Warp another swing. I don't know. I've been.
You
using
should.
Ghosty
I've been
Tech.
telling you. Now that someone else has told you, maybe you'll listen.
Yes, because I don't believe you, and I think that you're very bad. And so I just kind of skip your recommendations on most things in life. Although, oddly enough, we have a lot of the similar things. You don't have this hat, but I have his hat. We have these prompters. We have the same cameras. We're the twins. But, I'm the Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's the Danny DeVito. Okay, so it's like that. Anyway. Alrighty. Sorry, hot takes. Go ahead,
Oh,
Robbie.
that just reminded me that today is Jersey Mike's Day of Giving, and I have not gotten us up there. Anyway,
Okay.
so
Yes, please.
inferred types or explicit types?
I mean, if I'm going off of what I actually end up doing, inferred types. But when I've added explicit types, I'm probably going to bring up AI a lot in this conversation because my head's been wrapped around how it affects the way I'm writing code. And one benefit of writing a descriptive function with a descriptive return type is suggestions will improve if you give it more handrails of what to do. Like cursor tab completions are really, really good at just filling in the gap. If you say, and it returns this, oh, okay, now I will go ahead and check that. It's also kind of nice to, on functions that return a bunch of different things, like a switch case, if you just need to gate it to make sure if you add a seventh case that it's also going to adhere to that type. So if something's complicated enough, I'll throw a type on there. But if I'm doing my day-to-day, it's all inferred, as it should be. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's too much effort to type everything, especially when it's really fancy objects and you just don't even know what the shape's going to be yet. You just kind of leave it where it is and trust that the types line up.
Yeah, I tend to like inferred as well. I always hover it and make sure it's returning the thing I thought before I'm yeah, I'm good. But I agree. I do want to take just a second and we'll come back to other hot takes. But you mentioned cursor a couple times, Warp's AI stuff a couple times. I've had a lot of issues with cursor. I've heard that cursor is supposed to be so good. And
Sure.
I'm like, hey, I don't even know what I asked it. Change this file somehow. And it's okay, let me do it. And it doesn't do it.
It doesn't.
It doesn't make any changes, but it says it's I've updated the file in this way, and it prints out what it's gonna do. And I'm like, okay, but could you actually update the file? And it's you're right, I didn't update it. And then it updates it or tries to update it and still does nothing. And then I was
interesting.
could you stop telling me that you're updating it without actually updating it? And then the third or fourth time it just goes, hey, you're right. I'm actually pretending to update this all the time, and I'm just not gonna do it. And I was what?
Also, you're out of credits.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Not too long.
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious.
So that's not what I expected you to say. Because if I'm thinking about what do I use cursor for and where does it fall flat? For me, the cursor tab completions, have you used those? Just
Yeah.
day-to-day code stuff? Does that work for
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, that stuff seems to get it right a good bit.
Yeah, I feel like it's a better version of Copilot because it'll tab around the file when you're doing refactors. It'll edit things behind the cursor. So I never miss closing braces anymore. It just kind of molds it into place when I'm doing really deep React stuff. So it's just great if you know your editing code. But I'm with you on the assistant stuff. My issues are a little bit deeper because there's two ways to approach like code agent workflows. One of them is very explicitly, here are the files or directories you're allowed to look at. Now go fix this problem. And that's the way Cursor does it. So you tell it whatever your current file is or the directory, you can say entire directories now. It doesn't work for me, but you can apparently. I don't know. I need to try it again. But if you do that, it'll just adhere to that and make a suggestion. And I noticed that means if you ask it, make this more performant, for example, I was trying to fix something in my code where I thought, oh, this is doing a bunch of function calls to this library and it'll be inefficient. Or actually it was a package in our repo. And it said, oh yeah, I'll make a map so that we have O of 1 lookup and we save everything in a nice cache and everything's good. And I shared it in the Discord because I thought, oh, this is a great suggestion. Look what it did. Then someone said, oh, I wrote that function. It already uses a cache. But it didn't know because it was only told to look in the one file. It didn't click through. Like, I would have gone to definition to see what is this thing if I was trying to make it performant. And it doesn't do that. So now there's a different kind of agent workflow that Klein uses. I don't know if you've run across Klein at any point.
With a K or a C?
With a C. So
Okay.
Cline. Yeah, it's a North Star for a lot of stuff Warp is doing. We're trying to dial it in more, but it's like an open source VS Code extension that you can just go grab and put it in Cursor or just anything. Give it a API key. You can use Open Router or just Claude. Just like get a Claude key, put it in. And instead of you telling it the files, you can tell it, go fix this problem. And then it'll just go through all of your folders, all of your directories, decide which ones look like they're going to solve the problem, drill into those, read those files. So it takes a bit longer doing context gathering.
Yeah.
And then it comes to you either with a game plan. If you ask it to just write a plan, it'll write like a markdown file with mermaid diagrams. It's kind of crazy. But it'll like say, here's how I'd approach it. Then you can flip it to act mode, and then it'll like implement the plan. And it's not... If you have a very focused prompt, then it will solve it. If you have very generic, I want to build an Electron app that does this, that, and the other, it can really go off the rails because Claude tends to go off the rails if you let it.
Yeah.
But it's just this really nice way of working where it'll go out in the universe, it'll look at all the files, it'll read the ones it thinks are relevant, and then it'll come back and solve your issues. And I found that it's a lot more reliable doing that. And that kind of brings me to what Warp's doing, because Warp is in the terminal. It'll reach for CLI commands more so. So it'll like actually run ls on the directories that it wants to look at in a similar way. Say, oh, these files look relevant. And then maybe it'll like start the dev server, see if the error still occurs, stop the dev server, and then continue on with the flow. So it'll like jump in, do a little debugging, jump back, and then it'll edit files on your behalf as well. That part I've noticed some weird issues of it tells me it modified the file and it kind of didn't. So similar to Cursor, it's like, oh shoot, it didn't actually make the edit correctly. And the longer I let it run, the more likely it is to kind of fudge edits. So that's something that needs to be worked on, I think, like across the board for agents. But I just like the mental model of it's just going to do what I was going to do anyways. Walk around a bunch of directories, figure out how the heck this project works, and then do a best effort fix and see if it worked. So that feels like the direction things are moving in. And hopefully Cursor picks up something like that too, because I feel like their agent mode isn't useful beyond like a couple files that are in my head, because it doesn't really drill deep on the stuff that it probably should. But I expect the Cursor team's going to like watch this and DM me saying, we've added this and you should go test it. They're very, very forward whenever they have new things to try, which is super cool. So everyone's racing towards this new idea. It's probably the takeaway.
That's fair. So Infer types. Great, thanks.
Oh yeah, right. Question, right?
Yeah, sorry to derail us a bit there.
Oh, I wanted to talk about that.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a blog post that's just brewing or something like that.
Yeah, and we're also not like hard and fast into these bullet points like must check this, must check that. There's aspects. There's questions in here that you've basically already answered in conversation. Like I probably don't need to ask you cursor or windsurf or warp or ghosty because turns out you have some bias.
Yeah. Now windsurf's interesting because I tried it and I just thought the tab completions weren't as nice as cursor. That was kind of my only issue. And Zed as well. I love the Zed editor. It is like on its like bare bones the nicest editor I've ever used. But their tab completions are like kind of all over the place. They're playing catch up. I don't know. I wish that it was more dialed in because otherwise, like Zed is what I want editors to feel like. It's built on Rust, super fast, more friendly to Vim users like me. So I just prefer it for those things. But AI completions matter a lot right now.
So do plugins and extensions and things that you can use on VS Code forks like Cursor.
Yeah, exactly. I never ran into issues with extensions because I'm mostly doing web development projects. 5 Astro, Tailwind, React, Vue, Svelte. If all those are present, I'm probably fine.
So you didn't mention Ember, so...
Ember?
Robbie uses Dead Tech. So
I do.
You use Ember?
I do. Mm-hmm.
I said that judgy. You use Ember. Okay, nice.
Yeah. And also, so you can go back in time to its relevance from time to time. No, I'm just kidding. All right, I have friends there. They're not going to like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Where did we leave off? Did you ask one?
I jumped around a little bit.
Editor battles.
Ask a question.
I knocked out a couple. Here's what I want to know: get rebase or get merge?
Oh, that's great. I still do rebase, but not for any like philosophical reason. It was just in my first like true full-time gig, everyone did rebase. So I said, okay, I'm going to learn that. Yeah. And I've just stuck with it. But I felt the pain. If you try to rebase on main, you've got like 20 commits, and it feels like you're saying the same thing over and over and over again. Like, okay, fix package log. Okay, fix package log. If I merged, I knew that wouldn't happen. So I've wondered about the other side. I haven't jumped in. I don't know what the cons are if you just do merge instead. If either of you do that.
I always rebase.
Okay.
I rebase.
Rebase crowd.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you know what you're doing, I say rebase is the thing to do. But
if I hit one of those where it's like 100 commits of the same thing, I tend to just like take all of my changes, like just reset to main and just like add my changes. I'm not gonna rebase through all that stuff.
That's a good idea. Or you can tell Warp, power through this rebase, man. Just like
that's true. That's true.
It'll probably wreck it if it was 100 commits. But I'd like to try.
If it's 100 commits, what took you so long? That's what I want to know. What took you so long?
Or people are very fast.
Yeah. Or you're on a huge team or something. Yeah. I don't know. I have embraced merge when I've been on teams that merge. That's fine. Like having been a consultant, you try to be a good visitor. Oh, okay. You don't wear shoes in your home. Great. We'll take those off while we're here. That's fine. It's the analogy for me. But as far as like benefits of choosing it, I don't know. I've never really seen it. Some people just like that, I guess. They don't like rebasing, or they don't know how to use their tools.
Yeah.
All right, Robert.
Well, I think this is potentially, well, I guess question before I ask this question. You said you use Vim. Do you use it in like VS Code or like outside of it?
Yeah, I use Vim Motions. So I'm not a true Vim user, I guess. I picked it up originally for Twitch streaming, where there was one redemption you could do, make me use NeoVim for 5 minutes. And that was my excuse to learn Vim Motion. So at first it was a punishment. Like I have to go leave comfy VS Code, open NeoVim with very small config files. So nothing was really nice to use. And I just learned some Vim that way. And then eventually I thought, okay, so NeoVim is a hassle, and I don't understand Packer at all, even after watching a Primogen setup video for 3 hours. So maybe I should just focus on the motions. So then I did that, and eventually had the confidence to just turn on Vim motions for like day-to-day work instead of just live streaming fun stuff. And it kind of stuck because you learn some really useful ones. Like if you learn CI, like just the CI characters, you realize how fast you can move, like CI parentheses, and you can just delete everything inside the parentheses and start typing. I run into that so much. Or CI quotes and then rewrite some Tailwind classes. Like it's really easy to do. So it's worth learning just a few basic motions and just plug it into whatever editor you're using. And it works fine in VS Code. And I think, yeah, don't turn on Vim motions in Bash. It's really weird. I've tried it before. Yeah. For editing, it's really, really good. So I still stick with it.
Yeah. So there's a middle ground.
Yeah.
You don't have to be all one or the other. That's kind of good to know. I'm sure Prime will be very disappointed.
Oh, yeah.
But here's the thing. I think he tricks us all into doing weird shit that make us worse so that he can seem better because of what he's used to. I mean, that's how I end up with a keyboard like this. That makes me
tried.
Slow.
Yeah.
So slow.
Oh, still? How long have you been using it?
Oh, no, this is sat in a box for a good year or so.
Okay.
Like, I got it, and I tried it for a couple of weeks, and then there was one other time in between that I was like, I'm going to try again. I'll just do an hour a day. And then I was like, oh, I actually have 14 jobs and I'm busy right now,
it's tough, yeah.
I'm back at it now. This is like my first week back, so I just do an hour in the morning.
Yeah, I need to do that because that's my problem, though, is I do it for like a day, and I'm like, wow, I was slow. And then the next day I like have deadlines, and I'm like, I can't type on this thing.
No. That's why I compartmentalize it. I do an hour in the morning. It's kind of like my reading. If I try to say, oh yeah, I'm gonna read a bunch this weekend, no, it won't work. It'll like 30 minutes a day.
Yeah, just live stream and make a challenge. I have to use the Kinesis keyboard for 5 minutes.
God,
just
plus Vim.
Switching is tough.
Yeah. We'll start a new thing. This gave me a business idea. We'll have the Vim gym. You come in and it's a gym where you just use a keyboard that is totally off of what you would normally use, and you have to use Vim, and you will learn it.
I like it.
Yep.
Taking members now.
Only
Vim gyms
$40 a month.
gotta exist. Yeah.
So I do want to regress back because why I had asked that is this very important question. Okay. Is sidebar on the left or right in VS Code?
Ooh. It's still on the left. But the one change I make, you know that fat activity bar with those big icons? Remove that. Remove just that. And then learn the shortcuts to go between them. Because there's just something aesthetically about that big bar with massive icons. I'm just like, no, I need to remove that.
Yeah.
So I do that at least. But I know the argument for the right side because it doesn't bounce your code around when you collapse it. It's a good argument. It's good. I just haven't changed it. I don't know.
It's an argument that makes sense. I don't know. I would say it's good. Like I feel like that doesn't, even though it bounces a little, it doesn't affect me. Like okay.
I don't
but
know.
whatever.
It's not like this, and then it's like I can't read it. It's bouncing. Okay, now.
And I tend to leave it open.
I tend to leave it open too, unless in the small occasions that I am just on the laptop screen.
Right.
And I have to make my text bigger because I am old. And at that point, then I close it because I want all the space.
Yep.
But normally, and I do use hotkeys to move around files and stuff too. So I don't know. Yeah. Well, all right. We solved that major issue. Solved. Everyone, just so you know, the right answer is left. Always on the left.
Unless you ask Jason Langsdorff. He's the one that was like, oh, this has an objectively correct answer, or the right side.
I know. But there's always someone who feels that way of like, oh, no, I figured this is solved. Yeah. Hold on here. Chat, do we have some chat here on this?
No. Just Danny giving us some.
Danny, what up, bro? I'm
going to teach
him how to travel. Yeah, I'm going to teach him how to travel and not hurt his neck. Anyway.
Oh, was that a problem?
So he travels with this like screen, or it's a thing that you clip onto your laptop screen, and then it has like two extra screens to the
Oh
side,
my.
and then and he just has it on a table though, so you're like looking, and like I think you need laptop stands to elevate up,
Yes.
and I use AR glasses so that I get a bigger
Oh.
screen, and then can still just be in whatever comfortable position. So anyway.
Like
Yeah,
Vision
we
Pro
should get them to
or?
sponsor us.
No. Yeah. No, I don't make that kind of money.
Who does?
No,
Not that.
yeah, I
Yeah.
have Rocket is what mine are called. So there's a
Okay.
couple of different ones. There's like X Real and Rocket and whatever. I was in a co-working space for a little while, and so I saw some dude which looked like he was just wearing Ray-Bans, staring up and typing, and I'm like, what does this dude have going on? So find out they're like $300, so it's like pretty
Doable.
inexpensive
Yeah.
external monitor, and the Rocket ones I like because I wear corrective lenses like you, sometimes contacts, sometimes not, and you can adjust them. So like you can take your glasses off, put those on, and adjust them, and they act as corrective lenses for the screen as well. And so I was like, yeah, done, sold.
Interesting. So Rocket?
ROKID. This episode is brought to you by Rocket Glasses. I can send them an invoice, but they're in China, so they probably won't pay me.
That's actually
look at
their what's the word? I can't think of the word.
Subheadline, tagline, what? Words, plural? I don't know.
I'm just gonna quit now. Let's go to some of these questions that aren't hot takes, Chuck,
Right.
because I think there's some things we should dig into, and we're
Yes.
kind of done with the hot takes at this point.
Okay, fine. Suit yourself. Jeez.
Um,
Is that a? Do you have one in mind? Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead, sir. You first.
So yes. So I found this kind of interesting. It's almost like a two-part question. So you create a lot of content online, and in those things, you're usually like, "Look at this thing I'm trying, and it does these cool things." And there's kind of a deep dive there, to a degree for your content. But then the next one is, all right, look at this other thing, and I'm da 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 da. Do you ever find that that kind of stifles your deep learning? And I wonder, like, so the first part is like, do you ever find that kind of stifles your own deep learning into any particular technology or subject?
Yeah, you're speaking to like an existential crisis that I've had for a while. Like everything is awesome, but what to focus on? And the beauty of Astro is I've gotten to explore the entire ecosystem because Astro supports everything. You can put React or Vue or Svelte.
Not
it's very
every.
generic back. Moving on.
Have you tried?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just giving you crap.
It's open source. It could support it anytime. It can support it anytime. But yeah, like it's very general. I've gotten to explore all sorts of like database technologies too. Going from SQLite to MySQL with PlantScale to Postgres. Tried Supabase recently, and that's very different. So I feel like I've gotten a lot of breadth in the stuff that I'm trying, mostly to meet people where they're at and see what tools they're using, because I don't love picking winners. And in JavaScript, I mean, people really have not picked winners, or at least people keep trying to make a new tool. That's kind of the joke of JavaScript is people keep trying to make a new tool. Even though Claude tells everyone to use a React app, we're still going to make Svelte better. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm with you that finding a focus is very useful. And I've been figuring out what I would want to do because I'm very good at finding very scoped projects, focusing on them really, really hard, shipping, and then, putting it in maintenance mode, fixing bugs, and then moving on to the next challenge. Some people want to stick with one important, like, lifelong challenge or something like that. And I don't think that's really me. So I do think there's some truth in if you only do a 1-minute video, because that's usually been my cap, you can't go deep enough to really learn a technology. So I do get comments saying you should make a full-length video about this tip because I didn't know that you could. The video I'm putting out, you can put SQLite in the browser. That's a very cool thing. You couldn't do that before. And for this one, it was actually born out of a conference talk that I gave at JS World Amsterdam the other week. And I've done this a couple of times in the past of going deeper on a technology, spinning some shorts out of it, and then pulling like a full 20-minute let's live code this from scratch session. So it's a very different format. Like I have like a me in front of the desk coding for a few different topics. And then the whiteboard is just a lot of pyrotechnics and explosions, and you should be excited about this. So I feel like I want to do more on the full-length side without it being like a massive 20-hour edit. Because I've actually done that before. I've done a couple where I adapted the whiteboard to like a full-length video. It took me 20 hours. It's like, I can't do that.
You need like some AI deep fake whiteboard stuff to where you can just be like, do this, and it will like draw it all up for you.
I've wondered, at least for editing, it's tough because video editing technology is, well, there's two major players I know of that I use. One is Final Cut Pro, the like official macOS tool. Yeah. You can run it on a MacBook Air and it's great. And CapCut, which is from TikTok. And that's what I use for like a second pass on all my videos to add all the audio, all the visuals, all the effects, because they have very trendy, nice looking overlays that you will not find a Final Cut plugin for. Right. You have to go to CapCut for all this stuff. So I'm bouncing between two different editors. I have no idea how I'd automate anything that I'm doing. And I'm like, maybe Operator? Maybe Claude can just like move my cursor and edit a video? It just feels so far off. I don't know. Yeah, right. So the original question about like the focus of videos bounce between topics, I do want to do more long form, maybe, but also like doing multiple videos about a single topic. Because I do think in general, I learn best just by seeing someone explain something for like a few minutes, and then I'll immediately have a project idea, go off and build it. I've never completed like a course. I've never really wanted to make a course either because I know I wouldn't finish my own course. What am I doing? I would rather just find something exciting, get everyone excited about it, and then jump in the discussion when people go build with it. A really good success case for that was React Server Components. I built like a repo that just showed how you would DIY React Server Components because no one knows how to do that, even to this day, although I tried to teach people. But I found random messages and forks of people saying, yeah, I built my own React Server Component server because you open source this repo explaining the topic. It's like, oh, shoot. Well, that's kind of what I want. I just want people to find a springboard that tells you step 1, and then they have ideas to go step 2, 3, 4, whatever. So I do think I want to stick with the short format just because it's how I consume things. It's how I get excited and go jump off and go try something new. But having more of a narrative and more of a focus is something I've really thought about. Like, I mean, I haven't put my flag in the sand of how I build things, but maybe it's time. Maybe Ember. Maybe it's time to say, this is the Ember channel. We only use this tool.
Oh, I don't know.
Well,
it's been known to sink a couple of businesses, so.
No, I mean, I don't think it sinks businesses. It's like the businesses that went all in on it tended to have been like businesses that were popular before because it was popular before. Not that it like because they used Ember, they weren't a successful business. That's not
right. Yeah,
not
I
it.
didn't mean that necessarily, but if you were trying to put
necessarily,
just in the sense of if you were saying like, is there a trend around folks wanting to get into perceived older technologies because Ember continues to iterate and release new things and whatever else. I don't know.
I mean, Rails is old and it's having a resurgence.
Rails is old.
Yes. Yeah. You just need a DHH to like come and have race cars and long hair. And
maybe we could just get DHH.
Yeah, maybe just get it because it's based on, I mean, it was inspired by Rails. So we know that.
Was it really?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, Active Record and Ember Data, there's a lot of overlapping patterns. And that's why I know that Active Record is awesome because Ember Data is actually pretty awesome.
So it's a full stack tool. I thought it was just a front end rendering
It
framework.
it is
No,
just
it is.
front
Okay,
end.
okay,
It
okay.
is like,
But there's
yeah.
an ORM with Ember Data to like
Interesting.
you can just be like model.save and you don't have to know what all is actually happening when you do that.
Yeah, it's magic.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have thought about, because I was trying Ruby on Rails this weekend just for fun, because with all of these agents, usually they do better when you put them on rails of what they are allowed to do and not allowed to do. And one nice rail that you can put in there, I'm not doing this on purpose because it's called Ruby on Rails, but it really is like that. If you have a good CLI with scaffolding for common actions, and you have baked in frameworks for this is the one way to do middleware, one way to do auth, etc. If you point an agent to that, it'll say, well, there's only one way for me to do all these things you asked me to do.
Yes.
So I'll run the one CLI command to create that, add the auth, and there's your app. If you ask it to do it with JavaScript, I mean, well, it depends. It sounds like Lovable, which is like an online editor, seems to basically demand if a user asks for something, it's going to be Next.js, it's going to be Supabase, it's going to be this. And it's able to get on Rails that way. But yeah, it's nice using something like Rails, because if you tell it, I just want this scaffolded, it knows what to do. And if it doesn't, you can tell it, go read the Rails 8 docs, and it'll actually spin up a crawler, read the Rails 8 docs, and come back to you and say, yeah, I know how to do Rails 8 now. Let me go ahead and add that service.
That's what I think makes a web framework. You have
It
conventions,
does.
and you follow
Yeah.
those conventions, and that's the problem with like traditional JavaScript frameworks is they're missing so many pieces. Because if
they have
put it
no
in
conventions.
There, right, but if you put it in
Nah.
there, they couldn't recommend their other friends who also have a business in San Francisco. So
Oh, shots fired. But
This
yes,
may be true.
along these lines, I did have a question around this. Let me see if I can. Yeah, so like SaaS products, full featured batteries included frameworks versus rolling your own type of thing. Like, you know, what do you think is best when if you're like looking for an auth solution or a like email solution or like, you know, things that might be a little beefier? What do you think?
It's tough because, well, I think about what have I done that's scaled and what are things that I've just done for personal projects. And most of my personal focus has been on like front end tricks, static sites, etc. That's where Astro was born out of. It's where a lot of my fascination was. So a lot of my opinions come from there. So I might know what CMS to use, but maybe not what auth service to use. But I've been trying to branch out from that. And well, the companies I've worked at have all had pretty weird stacks. So services we built at Astro are very node intensive, and we've tried many things. PlanetScale came up, and it is lovely for particularly data migrations and having a GUI to see here is the schema change you're about to merge. Here is where the data migration is going to run. Now it is executed. You have 15 minutes to roll it back. Like having those training wheels around it are really, really nice. But the con is you're working with a hosted MySQL instance. You don't have as much control over that. You don't have all the features of Postgres, like subscriptions to events. That would be something really nice that Postgres gives you out of the box. So there's pros and cons to that one, but I did enjoy it. I don't have a strong opinion on, like, generally, should I buy a bunch of services and staple them together versus use a framework that has it all? Because, I mean, just saying it out loud, of course you want the thing that has it all. Like, I'm going to spin up Laravel Cloud, and be done. I don't know, because I haven't really used these tools.
Yeah.
It just sounds good in principle.
I think a lot of people want the pain. They want to be the smart engineer who built the whole thing by hand.
Oh, yeah.
And spent 2 to 3 years doing that.
For auth or Supabase for auth.
And now you're irreplaceable because you built the architecture.
Yeah, and you had fun.
yeah.
People are like, it's not fun to just like, you know, Rails
Be told what to do.
all the stuff. Like, yeah.
Yeah, like the whole reason I joined Astro is because for my personal site, I just set a constraint in college. Like, okay, you're going to build your personal site, but you can't use a framework. You can't use a build tool. You have to invent all of the universe. So everything down to parsing a markdown file. Well, I used a library for that, but turning that into static pages, rendering JavaScript, client-side spas. Like, you have to implement spas from scratch, see how that works. And it turned into me making my own mini framework just to say I've done this. And it turns out it was very similar to Astro, and that led to a career. That doesn't always happen when you just go off and do something. But I will say, like, anything I've really, really enjoyed was because I set a constraint of I'm not allowed to use a library here. I'm going to force myself to do this thing. The constraint I'm actually setting right now is just for fun. You're not allowed to write code. You have to learn how to force these agents to do everything you want to do. And you
they're so bad at listening, though.
Jump in. Like, maybe you need to go read the docs on all the tools, come back, build the perfect prompt, and then try again. Even if editing it would take 5 minutes, you are forced to do this. I just want to see where that goes. I just want to see where that challenge leads. Because it's the only way you, like, learn a thing is if you just block out everything else.
Oh, we lost Chuck.
Oh, no.
Something went wrong. They're not being recorded anymore.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, wait, is he totally gone? He's totally gone, I believe.
There we go.
Oh, wait,
Now I'm back.
he's back.
How about now?
Yes.
I mean, I hear you now.
See?
Do we trust that it's recording?
You
Or
don't
should
see
I
me?
stop it? I
Yeah,
do
it
see you,
says
but
audio recording.
It says recording.
whatever.
Says-
We'll do another episode if it doesn't do it.
Yeah, we'll just
You got to
start
stop
over.
having so many tech issues, though, Chuck.
I don't know what the problem is. Things work.
It's
or
you.
don't
You
work,
touched
and-
your keyboard.
Yeah, I did. I was trying to look at chat for a second while you guys were talking in order to address messages. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
which
there's
is
it's still
basically
just
nothing
Danny.
now.
He was just responding to you.
Yeah, which I think is fair, and I should give him that platform. Anyway, but nobody cares now. Sorry, Danny.
Love you, dude. Sorry.
Sorry, but you know.
Oh, okay. What were we saying? I have no idea.
Well, no, we were talking about how, like, constraints, introducing constraints to force yourself to learn particular things. I really respect that in terms of, like, I could grab this tool that has all the sugar and fun for me, which we've said in the past can be like, that's what React is. Oh, everybody's building apps this way. That's what I'll learn. I won't actually learn how my browser works or
Wait, is React
servers.
like built on something like JavaScript?
Yeah, right.
Is that a
totally
thing?
Right, it's foundational. So, there is that. But here's the thing, because I feel like we can go on. Well, I've got a couple of questions, but my first question is this. You talk about in school you introduced this to yourself, which sort of like kickstarted your career once you kind of came in contact with Astro. But speaking of school, you seem to be a perpetual student. And how does one decide to get an MBA?
Oh.
Yeah.
No one has asked about that.
Well,
yeah.
it's about all the dirt I could dig up on you. I try to look on the internet, and like you didn't have a blog like 10 years ago that I can find.
Okay, 10 years ago, no.
Yeah. But I did see your professional blog, but like I want non-professional things. I want to know the guy behind the whiteboard. So anyway, you got an MBA. I think that's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, there is a Tumblr with embarrassing Doctor Who jokes if you ever want to find that. Yeah. I don't remember the username. But yeah, that was a time.
It's actually John Holmes.
John Holmes.
Do you know who that is? Has anybody ever asked you if you're related?
Who is John Holmes?
I've heard of Sherlock.
Yes.
Younger than Sherlock, but older than Ben for sure. A 70s porn star known for
Oh my. Okay.
things.
Well,
That
no,
took a turn.
have not been asked.
You went to college. You might have seen things. I don't know. Okay. Anyway.
Would that be his real name even then?
John Holmes? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
No
not
way.
sure. Boogie Nights was loosely based on him. So it's like loosely based on that person who, I don't think that was his real name. Johnny Holmes. Or also known as Johnny Wad. Anyway, Benny Wad. You could be that. Let's get back to the original question, though. MBA.
Yeah.
What made you decide?
Let's
to
do
pursue
that.
Yeah,
and
totally.
complete an MBA? Yeah.
It was well, I've always had an interest in product, in kind of owning roadmaps. So at the time, it was just hopping out of school. I was joining as a individual contributor, and I know, well, there are a few tracks. I've always been interested in the business side of startups, so Astro kind of spoke to that, got to peek behind the curtain. and also engineering managers, product managers, that track. I didn't really know what I was going to end up pursuing. And so I thought, well, now's the time to do it because I graduated in the dark ages, the time when everyone was remote. I will not say Voldemort's name, but you know the time. It had a 20 and ended with a 20.
Yeah.
So I just said, yeah, I'll go ahead and start this now. And I was able to finish it just with like a few gaps in there. So it was an online program at Ole Miss. And it was a pretty, oh, you know
I do.
that.
My best friend went to Ole Miss and then decided they weren't good enough at football and went to Alabama for his PhD.
Ooh, shots fired.
Fair enough. Yep.
Both very good, much better than where I went. So anyway.
Yep. Well, I went to Georgia Tech for computer science. So, we just got smoked by Georgia State every time. We had a strong rivalry with Georgia State, and Georgia State didn't know who we were. So it was kind of funny going to games.
Yeah, I went to Virginia Tech, and we thought we were good at football a couple of times, and Georgia Tech has beat us a bunch. So
recently, Georgia Tech's gotten pretty good, and I think it's because you can like sort of pay to have players join your team or attend your university when that wasn't allowed before.
Yeah.
So those with strong engineering programs suddenly are better at football. Interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying anything, but I am noticing Georgia Tech got pretty good.
We started having some static from somewhere. Do you guys hear that? Do you hear that, Chuck?
That I do. I thought somebody like turned on a sink, and I was like, maybe
It
that
could be that. I don't know what. Yeah, it's a fan or a
Okay. Oh, there it is.
There, yeah, yep.
Yeah. He was trying to steal our stream, put it straight on his TikTok.
Well, a stream from the sink.
Yeah, a literal stream. All right.
I'm in the home office. There's a kitchen nearby. Sorry.
Yeah, is that a sink? Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't a technical issue.
So
we like to have noises because our editors need something to do. So like, anyway, where were we at?
You were gonna ask about exercise habits, I think, or something.
I wasn't. I don't know why this is here.
I didn't.
But Chuck added. Wait, you didn't? You didn't put this?
No.
How did it get added then?
I have no idea. I only put the NBA question in. We do actually do some research and notes, by the way. So
I'm very confused. I guess we could ask it, but there's a question here that asks, "Do you own a Peloton?" And Chuck says he didn't add it.
I didn't.
So I don't understand what, like, did you have something about a Peloton? I don't know.
No.
Yeah. I mean, and this is the last question, if that's all right, because I do need to hop in a second. Good note to end on, though. Kind of full circle. So, I mean, Peloton's where I started my engineering journey. So every time I said that at a party, people ask, do you get a free Peloton? The answer is no, but it is steeply discounted. So I do still have a Peloton, and I still do their online workouts. You can like just do weight training on the phone, and they still have all the same instructors, and they're phenomenal. Like they will kick your butt completely. They are amazing.
Oh yeah.
Brad Lopez, best one. Rowing, yeah, I know that they have a.
I don't have a Peloton
I need to try that.
rower, but I have a regular rower, and my wife has a Peloton, and I do the rowing workouts. Matt Alpers, amazing. He listens to this. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
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 He's rowing right now.
Yeah. Before we end, are there things you would like to plug?
So there's this terminal called Ghosty, I think. That one's pretty good.
Yeah, get that one for sure.
Get that one, then uninstall it, and then maybe try Warp Terminal. Just to see what you think about it.
Okay.
It's a nice terminal environment. It's also really nice for agent workflows. Just start typing plain English stuff. Ask it to build the next dream startup and see what it comes up with. And if it breaks, go in the Discord. There's Warp Discord. Also, ask it to make Astro projects. Still spinning those up. Use more server rendering with Astro too. It's great for spinning up backends if you ever want to. I've been pairing the two together, so merging the two universes. And I have a YouTube and Twitter, bholmesdev. Go watch me over there for short form stuff and occasional long form where I actually sit down and learn something deeply instead of making Twitter clickbait.
Excellent.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah. Thanks for coming on. Everyone, thanks for listening. If you liked it, please subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.
Peace.
Ciao.